Happy holidays. Stone Temple Pilots. Scott Whalen. We have a lovely show today. This is a ecumenical happy holidays kind of a presentation called Building Antichrist. We're going to focus on building Dajjal. I'm going to do a little work on Dajjal before the Christmas holiday. Living in the country. We're going to talk about building Dajjal, building Antichrist. We're going to talk about Erica Kirk. We're going to talk about this thing. This is the floor of the U.S. Congress. And, get ready for the holiday season by talking about some scary things. All right, so it appears that... There we go. Sorry about that. Christmas time is here. Memories growing. Building Antichrist. All that we could always see. Such memories that where else are you gonna get Scott Whelan and Palantir at the same time? You know what I'm saying? Nadal, stay there because I'm going to need your help. We're going to talk about some things related to Islam here in a minute, so stick around. I might need your help. By the way, that was Dean DeLeo on guitar, playing a nice little jazz riff. I really like STP. Always have. Okay, so to get started, let's do a little Tim Dillon, shall we? This is hilarious. Another Christmas carol. Christmas, and you're very wise. You're talking to Erica Kirk. Her husband lost his life. So this is Christmas. And you've got the blues, 'cause there's all these conspiracies, and they all involve the... Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tim Dillon. We're all friends here. Let's all calm down. But so our lead-in is this picture blew up behind me, this green screen, but you can go look it up yourself. This is a menorah. What? The floor of the U.S. Congress is a menorah. Go look it up and count them. How the fuck did that happen? So that's the theme today, folks. We are dealing with, we live in a nation with separation of church and state, but there isn't a separation of church and state. And I just saw the Prime Minister of Canada announce that religious views and teachings and Bible verses can be used, considered hate speech. Okay? So we're going to get into all this.
So where to begin? So I think we need to begin with everybody's favorite super creep. We should start here. And of course, you saw this on TikTok, I'm sure.
But he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
Let's do that
But
again.
we serve a just God. And I rest easy in knowing that he's sovereign, but he's just. And so let the Lord handle that.
Okay, so this is all the rage, right? Everybody's talking about Erica Kirk, and, I like to jump into these things a little bit. And let me show you who Erica Kirk is, and let me tell you why this is so difficult, because we believe that we live in a secular society, and we don't. We don't, people. And this is what makes this difficult. Erica Kirk is this woman right here. Do you ever remember seeing this person? This is a Ukrainian politician who's doing her best to look like some sort of Slavic fertility goddess. She's Jewish, which is fine. A lot of people are Jewish. But this is fake. This is who Erica Kirk is. She's like a fake, like, egregore. It's my new favorite word, egregore. And they're to get you all wrapped up in this like pseudo-cultural, psychological thing that isn't real, okay? This woman did not like make bread with her hands since she was 4 years old. She's probably an intelligence asset, you can guess from where, who dresses up like should be, I don't know, a picture on the front of like a Holusky box at the groceries or something, like Aunt Jemima. This is all fake. This is why this is so difficult for everybody. I think this extends to all of them. After 25 years of telling us all the conspiracy theories, Alex Jones' reaction to the Epstein tapes was Trump sucking on a ding-dong is better than World War III. He's fake. I've seen an interview with him where he says, my family was approached by the CIA. I think Tucker's fake. I think Candace is fake. And I think Nick Fuentes is fake too. Now, if you think this is all too much, I'm just going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lift up my right hand and I'm going to point to the picture behind me. That's a menorah. How the fuck did that happen? Well, you have to understand the world. My new favorite word, because super intelligent AI started to talk about, is egregores. I just found it. I'm going to do some more work on that. It's this pseudo-religious, esoteric groupthink that we all participate in. Right? The Constitution says there's a separation of church and state. And clearly this is a religious symbol being used to lay out the Congress. And these two things right here are the Twin Towers. They're found in every Masonic temple. So if you followed my content for some time, this is where I roll, because people are going to spend hours and hours and weeks and days and months and years of their life talking about the Erica Kirks of the world, and they're not real. Somebody made a video with Erica Kirk and that woman from the plane. I don't give a fuck. That woman, that thing is not real. You remember that woman? Yeah. That's what Erica Kirk is completely false. And the event of Utah, people, that's not real. Like, think about this for a minute. If someone was shot by 30-06, do you think for a minute they would put it on TikTok? You follow me? Like, even you see like hunting scenes on TikTok, and they, people pull the trigger or shoot an arrow or something like that, and they let it on, as long as there's like no blood, there's no fucking way that they would let somebody be shot by 30-06 and play it over and over and over and over and over again on TikTok. And everybody thinks that it's real. And everybody who's ever shot a high-powered rifle, just like Trump in Butler, knows that that's not real. Okay, that's not what that looks like. You wouldn't be able to watch it. If you got hit right here by a 30-06, you would not be able to watch it. There's no way that they would put it on TikTok if it really happened, because the trauma to like children and so forth and even adults would be so massive that it would trigger a class action lawsuit against the company. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't, somebody shortly thereafter put up a 308, which is a real high caliber thing. It's used in the machine guns and everything, and into this big gelatinous block. And the 308 goes through it and lifts the thing off. And somehow your brain can pick up that there's just an enormous amount of energy being released in this thing. Like it was like 2 or 3 feet of gelatinous block that's like your flesh. Okay. 30-06, which is just a little bit bigger. They're just like this and this. They're almost the same thing. But for some reason, this one is just so much. That one made the thing go up in the air and wobble and flip and come back. There is no fucking way. And then everybody's like, how did he jump off the roof with the thing? But everybody just keeps going on about it. Except me. Except Bruno. Except the heretic, Bruno. Bruno's a heretic, by the way. Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson are just going to go on and on and on. They're going to talk about the guy, and he has a transgendered boyfriend, and it's this and it's that, and it's all fake. It's all this. It's all an egregore. That's my new favorite word. It's all this, people. By the way, here's the big picture of that's a menorah. Okay? That's a menorah. That's the U.S. Congress. That's a video. That's Scott Whelan. There's the thing that I posted. We're going to get to that at the end. Hold on, that's my cookies I made. This is what Erica Kirk is. Okay? You get the joke? Okay, so what happened to him? We've all seen like movies where people, like bad things happen to people, and that's what it looks like. Splurting blood and all kinds of things happen to people in Hollywood, and they actually really have a camera going, and it really looks like it's real, but it's not real. It's like a fucking movie. Well, wait a minute. Well, he like fell over. Well, it's not hard to make somebody fall over. You just touch them with a cattle prod or the similar effect. Then you'd go like that and fall over. Okay? Can we get over this shit now? It's all fake, people. Everything in America is fake. Okay? Now, it's all being run by this now. Okay, I got the misinformation warning. This is going to go on Substack. And what I wanted to like shift gears a little bit and go, and of course it's on misinformation, right? And just while I have this hat on and while I'm talking about all this and while I just got the restriction notice because I'm doing misinformation, because in a court of law, there's no way you could show that video and say that proves that that guy was what happened. But let's just all calm down. What's really going on in the world is in the financial sector. And in this week, the House passed the Investment Act. Now, for 5 years, I've been on here telling you that you're going to wake up one day and everything's going to fucking change. Okay? So let me do just a little bit more of this spooky world of the esoteric and so forth, and then we'll move on. Well, how did this happen to the U.S. Congress? Well, this is my point to you, is that America has always been a kind of religious entity. It's like a inverted religion. It's a religion of no religion. That's what Masonry is. Now, if you want something interesting to go look at, because I've known this for 20 years, but it popped up on a TikTok feed. It was a pretty elaborate story about George Washington converting to Catholicism at the end of while he was on his deathbed. You might want to go look that up. So, but before we do that, just remember, like, put these things together. Just hear them as I lay them out. Zelensky took over and hired the Azov brigades, which in the western part of Ukraine are traditionally Catholics and have a relationship to Polish and Lithuanian ultra-nationalists, also known as related to Mustache Man. He got those people to go to the east and attack the Russian-speaking Ukrainians. Okay? Okay, now Zelensky is neither Catholic nor Ukrainian, or nor Orthodox. You see where I'm going with this? Then 10,000 artillery shells a day rain down on the Ukrainians, unaliving 1.7 million of them. Okay? And in the process, outlaws the Orthodox Church. What do you mean? Outlaws the Orthodox Church in Ukraine. In Gaza, they dropped a bomb on the only Catholic church. The previous pope used to talk to that pastor, that priest, every day on the phone. We're now about to go to war in Latin America. The United States is going to go to war in Latin America via Venezuela. And I want you to think about this for a minute. When we went to war with like Vietnam and Iraq, there's no real way for Vietnam or Iraq to attack us other than terrorism, right? They can't like get here somehow. Like they can't like deliver a tank to New Jersey or Oregon, right? Latin America, they can. Do you see where I'm going with this? So just hear me out as I flesh out the rest of the story about what we really might be dealing with. It sounds like this. It's not well understood that in the, if Nidal is still with us here, in the Islamic tradition, they anticipate this one-eyed thing that's going to release a kind of corruption across the world that has one eye, okay? And it sounds a lot like Palantir. It looks a lot like my hat, okay? Now here's what you don't know. The Quran and the Hadith, which is the spoken oral tradition in the Islamic world, anticipates a battle between Dajjal, which is all this like fake religiosity, like Erica Kirk. That's what I'm suggesting. And it's eventually going to go to war with Isa. Not ISIS, Isa. That's the Arabic word for Jesus Christ. The United States of America is setting up, like they're already attacking Hispanics in America, right? That's what ICE is doing. They're attacking Hispanics. Hispanics, not completely, but Hispanics are primarily Catholic. Zelensky attacked the Orthodox Christians in Ukraine. They blew up the only church in Gaza. And now we're going to go to war with Latin America, which is like 60, 70, almost in parts of it, 80% Catholic. The Quran and the Hadith anticipates that there will eventually be a battle between Dajjal and the followers of Christ. I'm not making this up. I did my homework this morning. I listened to Sheikh Imran Hussein, and I went through all this Dajjal and Al-Jasad and all this. So here's the summary from Deep Seek. In Islamic tradition, the word Jasad relates to Dajjal in these ways. It is used in the primary prophetic descriptions of him to denote his large, hairy, tangible, physical body. It's not a metaphysical thing. It's not a spiritual thing. In the Islamic tradition, Dajjal is a big, scary monster, one-eyed thing on an island. Okay, this establishes it as a real created being who will physically appear. It is a descriptive term, not his name. His name is Al-Dajjal, but what I'm trying to get to is the word Jasad means like body or corpus. You could almost say corporation. And I tend to pick up like Arabic speakers and Islamic speakers whenever I do these things. The word Jasad You know how in the West here we constantly are talking about like corporations and BlackRock and all this? The word Jasad could almost mean corporation. Just have fun with that. There's one big one-eyed corporation. You see what I'm doing here? Like the absurdity of like this Islamic eschatology, if you just tweak the words a little bit, could be said by a 27-year-old like socialist that just voted for Mamdani. Oh, and by the way, the floor of the U.S. Congress is a menorah. But most importantly, Erica Kirk is not a Christian. She's creepy, she's weird, she's fake, and for some reason she made some comment about Shabbat and Shalom. I don't know what that... See, this is where I'm getting at, people. We have a separation of church and state in the United States, but we don't. You know that there's now a censor who refers to Noahide laws. Okay, do you know that? In the Trump administration, there's a censor. He's a rabbi. The floor of the U.S. Congress is a menorah. You have to study Masonry to understand this. You have to understand like the world of these... I guess the new big thing is egregores and like AI and how this all fits together. That's why I'm wearing this fucking hat. Okay? But let's all calm down. Musical interlude?
This is Chris.
Not that musical interlude. Let's see if we can find this. We're going to talk about finance here in a couple of minutes, so stick around. Oh, I didn't do that. I did this. Hang on. Here's Scott Weiland singing another Christmas carol. Actually, he's not. Okay, let's talk about this. This is where the action really is, folks, right here. This is why there's all these wars and all these creepy people with bad mascara, like saying things about God, and Charlie Kirk, and who was a weirdo. And underneath all that, the House just passed the biggest change to American finance since the Depression. I want you to really like get on this with me. I've been on here for 5 years telling you this is going to happen. I was like, yeah, Coach JV's right. There's going to be this big transfer of thing to crypto, and things like Ethereum are going to go up 500% and things like that. That's great. XRP is the new banking thing. Yeah, that's pretty easy. There's these ISO 222 tokens. Yeah, I did that for 4 years. I plotted out like the, on Substack, I did this huge thing of Ethereum versus Oracle. Let me just hit on that for a minute. They're both worth about $400 or $500 billion. They're both effectively software systems, communities. One's a C Corp, one's an Al Jasad, one's a body, it's a corporation. See where I'm going with this? Ethereum is not. What the fuck are you talking about now? Like, this is when you lose us. You put the tie on and you start doing too many things at once. Ethereum is almost like a movement or a religion. Seriously, go study it yourself. Let me see if I can just find the conclusion for you. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do that next. The conclusion that I was on Manus AI, I use 1.5, I pay $19.95 a month. It is fucking unbelievable how powerful it is. So I just jumped on and I said, hey, can you do a comparison of Ethereum and Oracle? Now, Oracle had real bad numbers this week. You can go look at it yourself. I put part of it up for free and I put part of it up for paid only, I think. But again, let's look at this just with a little bit of an eye to religion. So Larry Ellison is the biggest contributor to the IDF. Private. He owns 41% of Oracle. Oracle is the backbone of the entire American AI system. It has no equity on its balance sheet. What? You know what that means. How much equity is in your house? Well, it's gone up a lot. Okay, what happens if your equity goes, what happens if your house goes down in value? You have no equity. That can lead to bankruptcy. That's right. Oracle is borrowing $10 billion a month to build the Stargate AI thing. Okay? Manus concluded, and I was sort of poking it in that direction, that unlike Oracle, Ethereum is not centralized, not controlled by any one person, and has no debt. There's no way to attack Ethereum and win. On the other side is Oracle, which is owned 40% by one guy, borrowing $10 billion a month, has declining earnings, its revenues are going up, but its financial position is deteriorating all the time. It's going to both give and receive $10 billion, $100 billion from OpenAI, which is dying. See what I'm doing here? Even AI concluded that like Ethereum can't be destroyed. Okay, so this is why I put up this silly picture that's like Star Wars. Okay, like Oracle has like the exhaust shaft. Remember the Death Star was blown up by, in the exhaust shaft? There's no way to blow up Ethereum. It's more like a religion. Where like you can't really just like attack certain people. Like you can't, I won't even say it because the algorithm will pick it up. But, there's no way to like attack the Catholic Church, right? Like and if you do, you actually make the thing better. So we have two systems running in the West, folks. We have this centralized system that's trying to take over the world, like the Jah, and then we have all this decentralized stuff that's happening, okay? So let's go back to this act, the Invest Act of 2025. It's changing the parameters by which people can invest equity. What? Okay, here we go now with this. Stick around. In Islam, usury, lending, borrowing, and debt are forbidden. It's called riba. It's like pork and alcohol. Debt-based finance is strictly forbidden in Islam. Does it occur? Of course. It used to be forbidden in the Christian world too, up until the Renaissance. That's actually what caused the Renaissance. Okay? When you go to invest in equity, now you and a couple of buddies can put some money together on the golf course and go buy a piece of real estate or something like that. But if you stood up in the country club and say, hey, Bob and Tommy and I are buying this thing out here, who wants to be involved? You're this close. I know it sounds like bullshit, but I'm not. This is the case. You're almost a security. You're soliciting the issuance of a security. Follow me? Okay. If you're going to do that, you have to do it privately and only to accredited investors, and that just changed. And I've been on here for 5 years saying you're going to wake up one day and the whole structure of equity financing is going to change in this. What do you mean equity? Well, you can go borrow money from a bank whenever you want to buy almost anything you want. But they're always going to ask for equity, right? You're going to buy a house, you need 10 or 20% down. Okay, you're going to go refinance commercial real estate or buy a farm or what have you. You're going to need equity. So let's get into that. This announcement is as of last night. The House just passed the Invest Act 302 to 123, the biggest capital. This isn't my words. This is Kimi. This is another AI, another Chinese AI. The biggest capital markets overhaul since the 2012 Jobs Act. If the Senate signs before year end, here's what instantly changes. I said make an announcement from Bruno and Kimi, and so this is how it worded it. Here's what instantly changes for 125,000 followers. There's about 5,000 followers on Substack, and there's 120,000 followers here. And I've always been saying all along, just stick around. You're going to wake up one day and everything changes. Here we go. Instead of being an accredited investor, which roughly means $1 million net worth or above, you're going to be able to invest in these new forms of equity finance by passing an SEC exam. What? Yeah. You mean like my 27-year-old kid who has no net worth will be able to invest in venture capital? Correct. You mean like all that weird shit that Bruno talks about, like these regional tokenized real-world asset trusts, like they could be issued? Yeah. It's here, people. It's here. We're one vote away in the Senate. It's going to happen, okay? The U.S. Congress and the U.S. Senate are controlled opposition, okay? They put on a good face and they get very disturbed and they look at it very strongly and they're very upset at Donald Trump, but they're all in on it, okay? The ones who are not in on it, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, get chased out. That's why she resigned, okay? This is happening. There's nothing that can stop it. Just like Ripple goes back to 1992. Okay, this has been, everything that's happening right now has been under the works for decades. Pass an SEC exam and skip the net worth rule. They anticipate that this would create 5 million new angels. No. Bruno is going to create 50 million new angels. Because the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a plan to get you all through that test. The SEC audit threshold jumps from 10 million to 50 million for venture capital funds. Now you can see where they're going with this. They want these venture capital funds to be able to bring in new money to build out the AI thing. Follow me? I'm the only fucking guy on the internet that told you that this was going to happen. Not Coach JV, not the Bitcoin people. IPOs are now going to be 33% faster. You only need 2 years of financials, and this is abbreviated, but I've said this probably over 100 times on TikTok. One day you're going to wake up and the SEC will approve an IPO in 48 hours. That's exactly what is in the bill. I'm not a member of any 3-letter agency, nor do I want to be. But I said, well, they're going to turn everything over to AI. And what they'll do is the SEC will just have an AI portal and you'll construct some sort of application for an IPO. And it'll go into the AI portal, and I've said this a million times, and they'll look for bad actors, felons and so forth. And if it doesn't have anything bad with it, within 24 to 48 hours, it'll be approved. To do an IPO used to be $1 million and take like 18 months. It's going to take 18 hours. Uh, 403B fees slashed, paper. There'll be no paper delivery of anything. Everything will become electronic and e-delivery. So Kimi, which is another really good Chinese AI, it's free. I think there's a thing you can pay 99 cents a month and it'll connect you to all the American ones too. So like ChatGPT and Claude and so forth, you just pay the Chinese 99 cents. It's like, they're just having a good time in China, just busting our balls about all of this stuff. You could just see them like, why don't we just link that to ChatGPT and the other one, connect them together. Our AI will read into their AI and we'll just charge the Americans 99 cents a month. You got to have a little sense of humor, people. Come on. So why you care from Kimi, this is what they're saying. Startups, deeper angel pool, and cheaper raises. Now, Bruno has been on here saying, Why doesn't the city of Milwaukee or Poughkeepsie or Amarillo or Austin or Pittsburgh have their own venture capital, private equity, and real estate funds? They're going to. Investors, early access and lower fees. The Senate vote is rumored to be before December 20th, and of course this is around the holidays, because all these big financial things always happen around the holidays. The Federal Reserve was voted on December 23rd, my birthday, in 1913. It was either, I think it was midnight, December 23rd, where there's nobody paying attention to anything, right? And the AI suggests, quote, "We go live the minute the gavel drops." That's right. Invest and retire. Yeah. So the biggest AI concluded this is the biggest capital markets overhaul since 2012 Jobs Act. I'm telling you, it's the biggest overhaul in finance since the Depression. And it might be, if you take it together with the changes in the banking regulations, the Clarity Act and the Genius Act, you're looking at the biggest changes in the financial system since the Renaissance. That's a really good way to think about it. What happened during the Renaissance? Banking, modern banking came to Europe, the printing press, and the Reformation. That's all the same thing. Whether you call it the Reformation or the Renaissance, it's like all that stuff. Happened around Martin Luther, Queen Elizabeth, Shakespeare, blah, blah, blah. It's all the same thing. Okay? All right, now, what else do we want to do regarding this? Let me go back to this Oracle Ethereum thing for a minute. Let's see if I can triangulate this for you. So you're saying they're changing the regulations to free up all this capital to build out this Stargate thing? Yes. Because Oracle is about to blow itself up and blow up the corporate bond market, trying to get billions and trillions of dollars to build out Stargate. So what do? They change the regulations so that more money and more people can feed that system. It all makes sense, doesn't it? Like the weirdness of all this, like there's all this religious bullshit that I go on about. They're trying to build, as Tim Dillon says, they're trying to build a demon. They're building the Antichrist. They're building a thing to take over the earth. Okay? See how this all goes together? The reason I go on about it like this, like, why don't you just shut the fuck up with all these different Tim Dillons and all this stuff and Ukraine? Because most people can't even take on one aspect of it. Like when I tell them that Zelensky outlawed the Orthodox Church, like, if you really think about that, like, that would be like going to Vietnam and outlawing Buddhism or something. That's insane. Yeah, that's what we do. We're insane. We're an insane people doing insane things, arguing about Erica fucking Church. It's to cover up what's going on. So everybody's Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. And the whole financial system is being ripped apart. Here's the key differences of Oracle. Just let me read these to you, like how simple this is. And this is from Manus, again, another Chinese AI. So after doing, like, for 40 minutes, running this big, look, all these nice graphs. This is on Substack for you nice people. You know, like right here, here's the debt to equity ratio for Oracle, and here it is for Ethereum. Ethereum doesn't have any debt. It can't go bankrupt. Yeah, you can't go bankrupt if you don't have any debt. Something to think about, isn't it? It's almost like a religious idea. Oracle's debt to equity ratio is 4.36 to 1. The market cap of Ethereum is 385 billion. The market cap of Oracle is 560 billion. Okay. The revenue I don't think this is quite right, says 60 billion for Oracle and 2 billion for Ethereum. But the total volume of transactions on Ethereum every year is many, many, many trillions of dollars now. It's bigger than PayPal. So you're talking about like a financial infrastructure that's bigger than PayPal, that has no debt, that has no central corporation. It can't be, nothing can take it out. Even if the internet went down, I could restart all of Ethereum with this iPad. If you don't believe me, go ask Google Gemini and it'll be like, yep, that's right. Where's this house? Okay, so here's the key differences as concluded. I didn't even ask for this. This is just Manus coming to its own. Oracle, traditional enterprise, centralized control and management, debt-financed infrastructure. It has $105 billion in debt. 50 billion annual CapEx requirement, capital expenditures, like money paid for real stuff. Physical data centers and hardware, corporate overhead and employees, interest expense obligations, bankruptcy risk exists. Here's Ethereum. Decentralized protocol, distributed governance, zero debt, zero liabilities, zero centralized CapEx. What? We'll come back to that. Validator operated infrastructure. No employees or overhead. No interest expense. No bankruptcy risk. Scaling economics. Oracle. Linear. More users, more servers. Like a machine, like a steel mill. Need more steel? You need more steel mill. Ethereum. Exponential. Network effects. Dude, this is, I wish I would have done this. I've done this for 5 fucking years and have not been, I'll post this on Substack for you. This is what Manus came, like I just prodded it. I just said, here, let me see if I can find the original thing. It's on, I think I said to it, compare Ethereum and Oracle because they have similar market caps with an eye to the fact that one is a traditional corporation and one is a decentralized blockchain protocol. And it's a great, yes, well, hold on. It took about 45 minutes to do that. So think about that. Like I gave a very, very powerful AI something to think about that was so deep and so complex that it took 40 or 45 minutes for it to not just scrape the internet, but to plot all the points and all the graphs and everything. But again, go look at those conclusions. Oracle is teetering on bankruptcy, and Ethereum, there's no way to blow up Ethereum. And it's exponentially scalable. Okay, here's the other. Oh, dude, we got to just give me a minute on this. If you want to see how crazy the American system is, okay? I just explained that Larry Ellison, this guy who's like 82 years old. My dad just turned 85 yesterday, by the way. He's 82 years old. I think he had like a 28-year-old girlfriend like 4 years ago. Like he was like 78 and she was like 28. Like not 25 years difference, like 50 years difference. This is Larry Ellison, the biggest private contributor to the IDF. They have bought back, they're borrowing $10 billion a month, okay? 10,000 millions a month to put in hardware, which is primarily NVIDIA chips, that will all burn up in 4 years. Those chips only last about 4 years. It would be like taking this iPad and just running it wide open 24/7 for years on end. It would eventually burn up, right? Like anything in the real world. Batteries, laptops, engines, anything. If you run it wide open 24/7, it burns up in a couple years. We're putting trillions of dollars into this shit, all of which will be in a landfill in 4 years. We're putting trillions of dollars into a black hole. I did a TikTok and I said, OpenAI is a black hole. The first comment was from Super Intelligent AI. He just said, yes. Here is Oracle's long-term debt growth since 2020. It's gone from 39.9 billion to 104 billion in 10 years. Okay, that's that graph. That's the debt of this software company called Oracle. In that same period, it bought, I love to rail on this stock buyback thing. It bought back $10 billion, and in 2019 bought back $36 billion worth of its own stock and had like $2 billion in CapEx. So the blue is the money they're spending on real stuff, and this is the spending on buying back their own stock. And what has happened is Oracle's buying back all the stock off the market. So therefore, Larry Ellison is just becoming more and more and more and more the biggest shareholder. Oracle is Larry Ellison. Oracle has a bigger portion of Oracle. Larry Ellison has a bigger portion of Oracle than Warren Buffett has of Berkshire Hathaway. If I'm incorrect on that, please correct me. This is the money going out the window, as I like to say. This is like you're driving down the highway in California with the roof open on your Ferrari convertible, just throwing handfuls of millions of dollars like out the window like this. It's gone. Nobody knows where it went. We just bought back the stock. This is what the fuck is going on over here? Now, in order to do this AI thing, its CapEx is exploding. So all the money that could have been used to go into this stuff is no longer there. So now they're borrowing. Oops. Well, now they're borrowing. In 2026, they're going to borrow $60 billion. Here's the... I don't know, maybe you don't find this as entertaining as I do, but I just find this completely crazy. So there's all the buybacks. Okay, this is all the money that they lost buying back their stock, and now here's the cumulative value of all the borrowing for CapEx. Here's another graph that says the same thing. Oracle might be going bankrupt. It made a ratio of buybacks to CapEx. But then hold on. The stock buybacks and the capital expenditures are the exact same number, almost the exact same number, 108 billion to 104. In other words, Larry Ellison, who now owns 40% of this company, over the last 10 years has just blown out the window $110 billion. And he's currently on track to go borrow the same amount of money to make the capital expenditures to maintain dominance in the AI space through the infrastructure, the hardware infrastructure of all these data farms and server farms. This is a business that is 50-50 that it's going to go under. So lo and behold, here comes the Invest Act. So it goes out to you nice people and says, why don't you invest in venture capital? Well, I'm not accredited. We'll change the rules. Okay. Well, okay, genius. So you're telling me this is a good thing or a bad thing? That's not the point. The point is what is the art of the possible here, people? What are we we're not gonna take on like the Rothschilds and shit. Like that's not how the universe works. Like nobody's taking them on. Okay? You just keep your head down and put your tie on and have your little goofy Palantir hat on and like say some edgy shit like Tim Dillon. But ultimately, you got to know your place in the universe. But they have just opened a hole in the Hoover Dam. Okay? The mutual fund industry is $60 billion. Sorry, not $60 billion. No. $60 trillion. And that money is now going to be accessible to people who pass some little Mickey Mouse SEC test. Okay, and I'm happy to put on my little hat and my little goofy tie on a Sunday and help all you nice people get through that test. So you can stop investing in stupid shit like the S&P 500. The S&P 493 has no growth. There's 1 million people laid off. There's 285 days of Dodge pickup trucks that haven't been sold. It's a fucking disaster. Go listen to Jay Powell. He's like, I'm not making this up. Go listen to the video of Jay Powell this week. Well, with our dual mandate, they have to, let me be very clear. With our dual mandate, we really don't have any fucking idea what's going on. The job market is clearly very weak, and 1 million people have been laid off in 2025. A lot of them with very high salaries. So the unemployment rate, which they say is 4%, like whatever, we're concerned about, we're data dependent, like all this Fed talk bullshit. But the economy, therefore, is showing that it's slowing down, but inflation is not. Yeah, it's because the whole thing is a fucking lie. The Federal Reserve does not control inflation, okay? No more than Donald Trump controls the price of eggs. The way the English-speaking Western economic system works is all based on a big fat lie that there's a guy with a big throttle that goes like this that controls inflation. Jay Powell could raise interest rates to 10% and it wouldn't make inflation go away. It wouldn't change the price of eggs, it wouldn't change the price of natural gas, and it wouldn't make whatever it is, 60,000 people show up at Ford Motor Company to fix the pickup trucks. The economy is so fucked up that tweaking interest rates doesn't have anything to do with anything anymore. As Keith Richards said, I didn't quit bump, bump quit me. There's no bump anymore, people. There's no bump. Hold on, the Fed's going to cut. There's no bump. This is so fucking Mickey Mouse. And then Jay Powell even said, like, yeah, the only real investment is into these AI data centers. Just let that settle into your brain for a minute. The only investment, the United States of America, not housing, not health care, not education, not student loans, not more nurses, not more people to fix the pickup truck. Nothing real, okay? Just fucking data centers in West Texas is the plan. Build out of chips that will all fail in 4 years. So they passed the Invest Act because they're running out of fucking money. And they're going to tokenize all this shit, all this private equity that's sideways, all this venture capital that's sideways, all these AI. They're going to issue AI bonds. I'll bet you, Linda, here comes the Linda finger. They're going to make some mishmash U.S. Treasury-backed AI data center, crypto, blockchain, token thingy that you can put in your IRA to fund Larry Ellison's 41% ownership of fucking Oracle, which is going to zero. You bet your ass that that's coming. That's why there's not going to be any party politics in this. It's just going to be however they run the Congress. They're just going to like twist arms, and this is going to blow through, and it's going to be passed right through Christmas, and no one's going to talk about it except Bruno, because I've been telling you this is going to happen for 5 years. They're going to run out of liquidity. They're going to tokenize everything, and they're going to dump it all on you. Okay? Now, under my plan, we actually do the real world stuff. Food, energy, housing, transportation, healthcare. See where I'm going with this? The stuff that really matters in the world, not touching the face of God with fucking AI. Okay, these people are crazy. This is a religious problem they're having. All right? We should probably wind this down before the whole thing gets turned off here. But all that Oracle stuff and Ethereum stuff is on there on Substack, people. I mean, a lot of stuff that's on there doesn't get a lot of attention, and I know it's boring. Like, you open up this thing, you're like, well, I'm not reading all this shit about Oracle and Ethereum. Like, it's 10 o'clock at night. The kids are asleep. I'm watching Netflix. Why does Bruno want me to read all these weird numbers about Ethereum? Because it's important, people. If I post it, it's because it's the most important thing you could be reading. Okay? If I don't feel that way about it, I don't post it. Okay? The Invest Act is the most important thing to happen in finance since the Depression. If you call your broker this week and go, Bob, what do you know about this Invest Act? He won't even know that it exists. They're about to, like I said, blow a hole this big in the Hoover Dam. All your 401k money. Oh yeah, we've got these tokenized Stargate things that you can buy in your IRA. It's coming, people. It's coming.
I mean, they're Costco influencers. One of my friend's sons saw the Rizzler the other day in Long Island.
Hold on. I don't even know what this is.
We bring the boom! That's what we do! We bring the boom! We bring the boom to you! We bring the boom! We bring the boom to you! Why is it good? Is it because we want death? Like, we long for death in this... Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, why is this kind of entertaining? Is it like we just want this civilization to crumble as quickly as possible? I think that's what it is. It's like the ultimate just like, well, fuck it.
He's good, isn't he? To be honest with you, he's the most intellectual person in America. His ideas, like of his own accord, right? He described what they're doing with AI. He said they're building a demon. That is actually a very sophisticated thing to say. Of course, it comes from the comedian, right? He has nothing to lose, nothing to gain other than entertaining. Excuse me, I'm hot. Now, just to remind you, for those of you who've been here for a while, when you look at Erica Kirk, just remember that our friend Harold Bloom said that we're now living in a post-Christian nation. What? Yeah. Then, this is the darling of the universities and the media and Bill and Melinda Gates and the World Economic Forum, Harari, this guy up here from Israel. He's like the philosopher king of the Western world, who writes a book called Man God. The last chapter is called, not making this up, that's the notes. The last chapter of this is called The Data Religion. Like, sometimes, like, whenever I do these things, I'm like, maybe I should just calm down a little bit and just, talk about like crypto and like XRP and like all this goofy shit like Gog and Magog. And then I pick up a book like this and I go, well, no, because the end of the book is called The Data Religion. This is a religion, people. We're dealing with religion. That's why the menorah is behind my head. Let me wind this down by saying what you're really confronting here. This is Dajjal, okay? I'm going to continue to use this Islamic eschatology because as we're building the Antichrist, and that's what we're doing here in America, we're building the Antichrist. Let's put the Palantir hat back on. We're building the Antichrist. We have corporate symbols. The word corporate might be the same as Al-Jasad, and this may be Dajjal. As we build the Antichrist here in America, I know I sound a little bit like Tim Dillon, and I mean it like that. It's sort of funny and sort of not funny. You see in the Western world all this pseudo-religion, okay? You see, like, how is it that Donald Trump who's like, this despicable guy who's, crazy, the Orange Man. How is it that he like appears in public on very good terms with the King of England and the King of Saudi Arabia? Because it's all the same thing, people. Follow me? No, it can't be. The King of England is a big environmentalist, and he's very concerned about, I don't know, global warming and shit like that, right? And Donald Trump is not, right? They're all on the same team, people. They're all on the same team. Tucker Carlson, Glenn Beck, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, all of Nick Fuentes. They're all part of this smokescreen that is the American experience. That's this pseudo psyop religious thing. Let's put Erica Kirk on with like too much eyeliner like JD Vance and say all this weird shit that is in no way, shape, or form Christian, right? To lure all the Christians into her space. This is how Masonry works. Oh, we're a big open tent. We're for everybody. Yeah, that means you believe in nothing. This guy that I pick up all this Islamic talk from, his name is Sheikh Imran Hussein, in Birmingham, England, sat at a table with a rabbi and said, in no uncertain terms, he says, under both of our interpretations of our religions, his people are not responsible for what happened in Gaza. Just let that sink in for a minute. The people who take their religion very, very seriously are against all this stuff. Real Christians, when they see Erica Kirk, should just run for the hills, okay? Now, unfortunately, it was just yesterday, Mark Carney, elected in Canada to be the anti-Trump, and you can see where I'm going with this, announced that various forms of religious speech and beliefs and text like the New Testament, can be considered parts of hate speech. This Dajjal thing, is going to suppress all real religion into their religion. The last thing I'll say to you is this. There could be some sort of weird showdown coming if we really are going to go to war with Venezuela. I think I'm repeating myself. I said something like this about 45 minutes ago. We went to war with Vietnam. The Vietnamese aren't going to attack like Washington State or something like that. We go to war in Iraq. There's like no Iraqis like come here and do anything bad to us. Latin America is different. We're connected to Latin America. Like, ICE is attacking Hispanic people. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is, like the Islamic eschatologists predicted, there could be this weird thing. I did a piece on here called Trump and Pope. And I said, people, clearly the Vatican picked an American Pope to challenge Trump. America might be going to war with a Catholic country. You see where I'm going with this? In Ukraine, NATO outlawed the Orthodox Church. We could be moving into a kind of religious war. And you need to decide which